Good morning, Cowboy Jim. Third video of the day. It's not too bad. Sure haven't done much else while I started my dishes a little. Just just watching YouTube, and I'm watching what I think is called hashtag Pastor Alan Jackson. Hashtag. Well, it used to be a number sign. Now apparently it's a hashtag thing. World Outreach Church. And it is subtitled An Update About Ukraine from Ukrainian Christians. I'm going to try diligently to get all that in the title. And here's the deal. Are you familiar with the word revival? Well, I am. Creedence Clearwater Revival. CCR. This is bigger than CCR. This is a delineation from a lady and her husband who are from Belarus, and his job was that of pulling together a bunch of church groups, and it's an hour-long video, so but it won't seem like that. And the other day I did a video on a young lady whose last name was Gifford, and I saw her being interviewed, and she was interviewing a lot of Christian people from the movie industry, and apparently there are a lot of believers within the movie industry. It's just that they are hard pressed to let people know that they choose to be believers because they won't get any work. And so anyways, Kathy Lee Gifford is the lady's name, and she I watched her on Fox News. People don't understand. Fox News, for the most part, are a Christian news channel, and people they don't like Fox News. There's a natural hatred for, say, Donald Trump. I think Stephen Harper up here in Canada, other people around the world who choose to believe in something bigger than they themselves are. And but anyways, I just finished watching an hour and a few minutes where a pastor down in Tennessee was interviewing this grandma and grandpa, soon to be grandma and grandpa, and they told stories of their parents, their grandparents being imprisoned, sent from Ukraine, Belarus, to Siberia for jail time. I think the longest was 10 years. He was let out in 6.5 years. That was the lady's grandpa. And they were charged with being Christians, and there was enough evidence that it stuck. That's saying quite a bit, hey? And anyways, in their extreme effort to represent their and honor their ancestors. And the lady was one of 14 children. And that in itself is a noteworthy thing, I think. And they shared one New Testament Bible in her family as she was growing up. And her dad bought a used Bible, I think used, from some Jesuit type priests, and it cost 50 rubles or something. He made 60 rubles a month, and he paid 50 for a copy of the Old and the New Testament. No one in the family was allowed to read it except him, and but he did have a little New Testament that the children shared, and he too, for many, many years. And each child was allowed to take that New Testament and read it at will on the condition that they put it back in the same exact place so another of the siblings would be able to read it. Now, what they were speaking of was a revival in the Ukraine, Belarus as well. But they were speaking of a revival that had grave spiritual ramifications, that is a natural occurrence when a people are subjected to the horrors of war. And I quit watching Tucker Carlson for about 4 days. You may not appreciate the brevity of that, because Tucker was very naturally and rightly so concerned about the U.S. and the U.S. southern border. And he was saying that his government had been putting forth a grave concern about another country's border, that being the Ukraine. And he was angry, not because the United States of America were pretending to help the Ukrainian people, but because the U.S. government was intentionally avoiding any issue to do with the U.S. and the crippling effect that COVID had on the economy. I think I can say that. We'll find out. Further, Tucker was really upset with Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, because they were debilitating the United States of America from taking care of their own problems, the United States, open border, stuff like that, and concentrating on the American heart sympathy for the Ukrainian people. And it's not that Tucker, I believe, it is not that Tucker had anything against the Ukrainian people, but he did not know the facts about Zelensky. And if I understand correctly, and I heard it, Tucker was indicating that Zelensky really was a dictator in the making. In the making. But Zelensky was not a dictator in the making. What Zelensky did, and I so wish that you were able to watch this particular video that somehow I chanced upon. It jumped off the page at me when I had reviewed my last video. And Zelensky was putting people out of the country and or in jail, but out of the country preferably, who were Russian politicians working in the Ukrainian government. And what they were doing was fundamentally treasonous. Now, down in the States, we hear treason, treason, treason. And quite possibly up here with Trudeau, any time that a people will go against the liberal, up here, Democratic Party down in the States, against what they say, because elected officials sometimes forget who it was that elected them, and they do. And so there is limited free speech allowed. There are certain things that I'm not allowed to talk about on my YouTube channel. And the people who run YouTube, they have every right. They own it. They have every right to curtail what some would refer to as free speech, because they own it. They own YouTube. And so they can say what is allowed and what isn't. And they do. And they're not afraid to do it. They believe that what they're doing is correct. And I'm not going to disparage them because it's not my place. It's also not your place. But anyways, there we have it. I'm going to do everything in my power to, which isn't that much actually, to write this information down on this update about the Ukraine from Ukrainian Christians who know what is going on. There's another part to it. It's newlife.ca. I think that's the name of the church down in Tennessee, who had this couple, and they've been in contact with these people for 20 plus years. And so they are kind of family friends. The pastor in Tennessee and this not so young couple, but young, certainly younger than me, which covers a lot of ground. And but anyways, I will kind of leave it at that. I hope and pray that your heart will be as touched as mine. It doesn't take much to touch my heart. It just doesn't. Because I choose to have a tender heart. It's my choice. I do. So anyways, you want to understand a little more about what is going on in the Ukraine concerning people who are oppressed, not because they are Christians, they are oppressed because they believe in freedom. They're called Ukrainians. Okay. I encourage you, strongly encourage you. Try to look this up on YouTube. It's good stuff. Okay. God bless thee. Pray for the Ukraine. Pray for the Ukrainian people. Pray for those who choose to believe in a creator as I do. Not denominationally, not religiously, but with your whole heart. God bless.